Adam, Toastmasters Master extraordinaire, better known as our Toastmaster today, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. I had the most interesting conversation with my brother about 3 weeks ago. He's a retired school teacher of over 30 years in high school. He now mentors first-year school teachers in the public school system in Houston, Texas. And one of the things that we were talking about was how people communicate. And he said, John, how in the world do you teach communication skills when you go out and you do it as a consultant? And also, what in the world do you say to those people who are trying to become better communicators? And I said, Richard, the most dominant form of communication we have as a human being is our voice. It is the primary link that we have between ourselves and the people that we're speaking to. If we have a negative voice quality, we cannot communicate in a positive way in which we will be accepted by the people that are listening to us. What we want to do is make sure that when we're happy, we have a happy voice. And when we're sad, we have a sad voice. And then when we're real serious, like we're a police officer, we have a serious voice. Let's take a look at the components that make up our voice and the way it sounds. First, our breathing. If we stand erect, we have an opportunity to breathe from our diaphragm area down here in the stomach area. I call it belly breathing. And when you breathe from the belly with a relaxed throat, then you have a resonant voice. That is the natural way that we are built to communicate with our voice, and we should use it that way. In the event we become frightened, we become scared, we start breathing right up in this area here, and our voice becomes at a very higher pitch, and it's very obvious to those that are listening to us that we're afraid. You cannot hide it. Relax, breathe from the diaphragm area, belly breathe, keep the throat relaxed, and the resonant voice that you were born with will come through. Now, not only do we want to breathe properly, but also we want to be able to use the volume of the voice that we have. We can speak very loudly or we can speak very softly. My wife, Carol, is a school teacher, as you well know. When she wants somebody in the room to really perk up and listening because they're all whispering to their next door neighbor there, she starts speaking very softly. And the softer that she speaks, the more that the people realize that are in her class, they better start listening. In the event she wants to make a major point, she will emphasize that major point by raising the volume of her voice. As an example, I'm not going to town with you today. The key word is not. I'm not going to town with you today. In the event that you're in a very stressful situation and you want to say, I'm not going to town with you today, you lower your volume and say, I'm not going to town with you today. Lower the voice so that you don't raise the tension level in the conversation that you're having. In addition to that, we also have the opportunity to range of a pitch that we have in our voice. We all have a pitch range that we're born with. Those that are fortunate enough to sing have a larger pitch range than those of us who have never sang and have not had the opportunity to have the voice training. But we can still use the pitch range that we have. As an example, when we want to really expound upon something and we want to give it variety, we want to change the pitch. But there's something that we always want to make sure that we do, and that is at the end of a sentence, we want to drop down on the pitch of the last word, the last syllable of that word in a sentence. Do not move up on pitch unless it is a question, because when you raise the pitch at the end of the sentence on the last syllable of that word, it shows indecisiveness. What do you mean you don't want to go with me? See how me went up? I'm going to go to town. The pitch went up. It wasn't a question. It's obvious that something is wrong. We want to make sure that we use the pitch for variety to give us some expression in our voice. It's inflection is what it's called when we use the pitch range that we have. We want our voice to have a good tonal quality to it, and by speaking with some pitch, by standing up straight, using our belly breathing, we'll have a pleasing tone to our voice. Another thing that we can do is change the rate of speech. There's a speech range of 120 to 160 words a minute, and this window is the window that we have an opportunity to speak at that rate of speech, and people can understand what we're saying. As an example, vary the range of the rate of speech. When you speak very slowly and you speak this way through the whole speech that you're talking about, how many people are going to go to sleep because they are bored?